Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Formula One podcast, straight to the apex. The boys are all here, talking Formula One races, races gone, races to come, race news, race previews. Can I say race again before the end of this? Race. That's right, all the Formula One you could possibly need in one tight package. Before we start, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review. And obviously the big one, share the podcast around. If you've got a Formula One fan in your life, send them this podcast. They will love it. Right, enough from me. Let's get something from these guys. Here we go. This is CookieCast. Straight to the apex.
Hello, and welcome back to Straight to the Apex, episode 10, your F1 podcast. I'm your host today, leader, T-Dog, and I'm joined by Mark Wilkin.
Hello.
And Jimmy, but was also named as James. How are we doing, guys? How are we doing? Are we all right?
Not happy.
No, you're not happy. I thought you'd be really happy.
Why? What's happened?
I don't see Jerry. I don't see Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, I thought you had constipation again. I spoke about that before.
On that, apparently Jerry...
Constipation?
No, not on constipation. No. Jerry has been at a gala saying her name is Jerry Halliwell again. James, why are you still sat there?
There's a chance. There's an opening.
Yeah, I've just seen Jim Carrey and Dumb and Dumber going, so you tell me there's a chance.
I was going to say opening.
Yeah!
I was going to say opening, but I thought James might take that very rude, so I didn't. But well done, Tony.
Oh, dear. Well, I've had one of those days today where nothing seems to work out and you're just kind of just swimming upstream with your clothes on.
You look like you got a good fade going.
I have. I made it. Through all the roadworks, shit drivers, the anger. I made it. And Ash at Fraternity in Beverley did a great job. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Do you want to shout out to his shop? You know, we'll get sponsored by him this week.
4 or 5 people that watch this, go there.
4
honestly.
or 5?
Well, 3 of them are our wives, so they're not going to go there. But anyway, whoever watches this, when this goes viral, free haircuts and beard cuts all around.
Exhibit A. Look at Tony on the screen.
If you can get in. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, back to the F1. Canada, Montreal. I'm going to say the circuit, and I'm going to fucking butcher it. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
That was good, that.
Was that not bad?
Yeah, it was all right.
And we had a race. It was opposite to last couple of weeks ago.
Oh.
We actually had a race. We had a few races. It was amazing. It brought me back. I think it brought everyone back. What's your initial thoughts?
How many snoozes did you have?
None.
Must have been a good race. James, how many snoozes did you have?
I may have dozed off at one point. But in my defence, I had a very good game of golf that morning as well.
Oh, well.
So I was getting a little bit tired. But one because of the race I was drifting off.
The timing of the race was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Like, you've done your day, you've done what you want to do.
Ran 10k in the morning. Yeah.
You've beaten the roadworks. You're at home. You're ready to watch some F1.
Mate, for me, it was class. And if they could all start at that time, it'd be great. Because for me, it was 8 o'clock out on the golf course. Couple of hours of that. I came home, had a roast chicken, put kids to bed, and then that was it. Race was on, and
Perfect.
yeah.
You're right. It was the total opposite to the weekend before. So qualifying was a bit meh. The race was absolutely probably the best race of the season. Dare I say it?
Yeah. I would say you'd never. A good race is when you don't know who's going to win, and that changed about God knows how many times. And a good race is you're obviously watching on your TV. Fucking hell, you could have had 3 TVs watching the race at different angles and different. And fucking hell, quality, absolutely quality. But before we get into the race, has anybody got any news?
Jack Villeneuve.
Jack Villeneuve. What did he say about a certain person?
I don't know. He made some very, very, I won't say nasty, but uncalled for comments about basically he said that Ricciardo should be out of F1, didn't he, really?
Yep, overrated and shouldn't be out on the track.
Yeah.
I think he made some very valid points.
Okay, Jack Villeneuve.
Wow.
Live tonight. Do you think I did like Ricciardo's response? Eat shit. Don't get me wrong. Ricciardo has not been performing until this weekend, but really, Jack Villeneuve, was he an absolute class racing driver that didn't have some bad seasons? No, he wasn't. He had quite a few bad seasons.
I'm surprised he said that about Daniel Ricciardo when you look at some of the other drivers that are out on that field.
Yeah, I think we could collectively name 5 or 6 drivers that are worse than Daniel Ricciardo on the grid right now.
Mm.
And I know the first name that would come out of Tony's mouth.
Logan Sargent is absolute dog. Absolute dog shit.
Exactly.
Absolute dog shit of a driver.
Sargent, Ocon, Perez.
Yeah.
Stroll.
Yeah. So that was, like you say, it was uncalled for. Really.
I mean, he did go. He didn't make a one line statement or a comment. He full on went fucking in, didn't he? He full on stamped on his neck and then fucking applied even more pressure.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I mean, how many World Championships has Jack Villeneuve won? Should he be calling drivers out like that?
Yeah, very true. Very true. I would probably say it was uncalled for. I make a comment. Everyone has an opinion, but he full on it was went on but then you could argue that and say backed up his points that he was making, but he didn't back up a point. He full on backed up a point after a point after a point after a point. And just for the viewers that were listening, James went to space and then back. I don't know what happened there.
Like this silhouette.
Andy, screenshot that one, will you, please?
Yes, thumbnail.
Yeah,
done. I've lost my train of thought from that. But yeah, just absolutely. You could say it was slightly uncalled for.
Yeah.
But I agree with everything you said.
Don't get me wrong. He made some good, like say, he made some points. He made some points where he thought, yeah. He just went a bit too far. A bit like a couple of ex-world leaders that are no longer alive. Just went too far.
I'll be careful going too far.
Are we comparing Jacques Villeneuve to Angry Mustache Guy?
I mean,
You
James
jumped to that.
hasn't.
I
James
didn't say that,
hasn't.
but maybe.
James hasn't gone too far just yet. But this is what can happen, James, when you go too far. You can get unalived or cancelled or many things.
I also like his new nickname, Angry Mustache Guy.
Well, comment below and tell us who that is.
Charlie Chaplin? Charlie Chaplin. Definitely Charlie Chaplin.
Definitely Charlie.
Monopoly Man, the guy off the Pringles tube,
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury.
Oh,
Care
now
of
you've said that.
himself.
Definitely Pringles Man. Definitely Pringles Man. He's angry. He's very
Oh yeah, who creates a tube that you can put crisps in, but you can't fit your fist into it?
Yeah, many
Wow.
places where. Yeah. Anyway, let's just sidetrack that for a second.
Yeah, we're going to hold it in now.
dangerous waters. Dangerous.
Let's come back to Jack Villeneuve, please, and Daniel Ricciardo. Who, because this is an F1 podcast, Straight to the Apex, episode 10, season 3. Yeah, so who else would drive? Who else would you have driving in that RB Red Bull fucking kick? I don't know, whatever it's fucking called, Visa car.
Not Villeneuve.
Yeah.
Not Villeneuve.
That is the question, because the Red Bull Young Drivers Program clearly isn't producing. I mean, Liam Lawson is a name that you could possibly put in there.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, there clearly isn't a driver in that program that's good enough to be an F1. And when they do, they're just kind of stale anyway, and they don't win.
Yeah, I know. But then, hey, he did all right this weekend.
Yeah, and Yuki signed his contract, so he's staying.
Yeah. He's not bad in. He ain't too bad. Yuki.
Yeah, I like Yuki.
He's maturing very well.
He's still very young. He is learning a lot. But I like the fact that he says his mind.
He's also a very tiny man. Tiny man.
Very, very tiny.
He should grow a mustache and be angry, because he's already angry.
Yeah, Jesus. Maybe, yeah.
Because he's tiny, he can reach the bottom of the Pringles can.
He lives in one.
Anyway, any more news to add to this episode? Apart from naming people that are tiny with mustaches and angry. That was probably me earlier on today, but we'll carry on anyway.
I'd say you've got a full beard, not a moustache. I haven't got anything else barring something that you're very passionate about.
Don't know what it is. Don't know what you're going to say now. That's throwing me off. I don't have any more news. No more news. I think we covered. There's one big thing that happened that nobody's said yet, and that was the new regulations. Now, I saw them pop up on my social medias pages, and I don't know about anybody else, but I just looked at the car and was like, oh, cool. Looks a bit different. Looks a bit same.
It does look nice.
And then I just scrolled on.
Wow.
And that was it. That was it.
Host for episode 10, season 3 of Straight to the Apex. Looked at a picture, thought, oh yeah, that's nice, and then moved on.
I thought you were going to be very angry and passionate about said regulations and rules, but you just looked at the car and went, yeah, it's all right.
I mean, I've looked at comments since then, and I think is it the guy from McLaren, one of the engineers from McLaren, the lead engineer of McLaren, has come out and said the cars are too slow in the corners and too quick on the straights. So I was like, great. So if that guy's saying that, I've got no chance. I think I'll wait till 2026. But luckily, I'm great friends with an engineer who's also on the podcast, and his name's Mark. So I'm sure, and I mean, It's all this. All these regulations are up history
100%. 100%.
So, I mean, he would update us and the podcast and the people.
Would you like to hear the new regulations?
Well, you're going to tell us, and I will give you an opinion on it fresh.
Oh,
because
I mean, if this isn't award-winning content, I don't know what is.
I know.
20,
Fire away.
So, technically, this was more of a regulation brief. It's not the actual technical regulations because apparently they aren't ready yet. But for 2026, we are going to have 6 engine suppliers: Ferrari, Mercedes, Renault, Honda, Audi, Red Bull, or / Red Bull Ford. So they're the 6 engine suppliers. Aston Martin will be going to Honda. RB and Red Bull will be obviously running Red Bull Ford engines.
Ford.
So 2026, not 2020 Twix, regulations. The battery power will be an even split between the engine and electric while running on 100% sustainable fuel.
Mm-hmm.
The length of the car has been reduced. The width has been reduced 10 centimetres. And weight reduced by 30 kilograms. Front tyres and rear tyres are also narrower but stay 18-inch rims. So not a massive difference, but okay. DRS will go. No more DRS. Instead,
this is the first thing I've heard.
We are replaced by 2 manual override buttons. One called X mode, and the other not quite out Z mode.
Another thumbnail there, opportunity, Andy.
Active aero, so the driver. Sorry, it won't be controlled by the driver. So active aero will be a movable front and rear wing, so therefore downforce and drag is reduced. So they're on about that being an automated system. So the driver said, well, that's great. If I get to a corner, how do I know I've got the downforce on or not? Let you discuss when I get to the end. A revised partially flat floor to limit ground effect to reduce the need for cars to be run stiff and low. So basically, Red Bull
stiff and
low, you got it. Red Bull struggled in Monaco because they run their car very low because Adrian Newey is a genius with the floor. Therefore, they run the car low to the ground. It sucks down to the ground. Fast, happy days. Yeah, they're getting rid of that. They're getting rid of that. Basically, they're going to flatten the floor. The cars will raise up. They are saying they're going to be slower. And up to now, that is all they've released.
Right.
Guys' thoughts?
I mean, the cars are smaller, slower, with worse fuel. They have no DRS and a flat floor. I mean, it all sounds like, when you were saying it just sounds shit.
Is that because I was saying it or because what I was actually reading?
No, it's what you were saying. But what you were saying was just shit. I don't know. We'll see. They've got to mix it up, haven't they, somehow?
In X mode, they are going to have a higher top speed. Sorry.
So is that like overtake mode? Okay, but then what's Z mode? Defend mode?
Yeah, I don't know. There is some jargon behind all that, but I've not really delved into it a lot.
Wait a minute. Z mode releases the power up that they have obtained going down the back straight, and that could be a red shell, a green shell, or a banana, or an oil slick.
I was going to go with the red mushroom kind of, boost.
Or wacky race style, they then get daggers that come out of the side of the car, and then if they go towards another car, they can damage the aero or get a puncture.
When you've got Kevin Magnussen driving out there, who needs it?
Well, exactly.
True.
So, would you like the actual technical jargon of Z mode? Are you ready? I mean, if this doesn't wet your whistle and get you excited, I don't know what will.
Well, it's wet, all right. It's wet.
Are we sat down? We can't see your bottom half. Are you ready?
Just get back in still. Nothing's wetting my whistle right now.
Come on, Andy. Phil.
You mentioned it.
Do you want me to say it in a slow, sexy voice, or just
No, just say it, please.
in a system similar? In a similar system similar to DRS, when standard Z mode is deployed, the elements on the front and rear wings will open and be angled to allow cars to deliver greater cornering speeds.
So DRS.
Drivers can then switch to X mode. X mode. I wonder if they have to do that in the car. X mode.
Like a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
He's going for it.
The drivers can then switch to X mode, which
Mighty
is
Morphin. X mode. X mode initiated.
all the cars join together to create one supercar. No, that's not really it. Drivers can then switch to X mode.
Trying to evolve.
which is a low drag configuration that sees the flap angle change on both the front and rear wing to maximize straight line speed. Isn't that the same as Z mode?
I know, it sounds just...
So they can go into X mode to go faster on the straights and Z mode to go faster on the corners. Right, I'm not being funny, but all they've really said is, guys, we're going to get rid of this system where cars can go 10 to 12 kilometers an hour faster, which we call DRS. We're going to get rid of that because no one likes DRS. But we're going to bring in something called manual override. All right, what's manual override do? Well, when the driver uses it, it means that the cars can go 11 to 12 kilometers faster.
Come on, podcast.
It's fucking DRS.
It is.
The only change is that Greta Thunberg will have one less thing to fucking moan about. She can then fully focus on Taylor Swift and their fucking tours.
That is true. That is because that is the other thing. It's going towards full sustainability by 2030. So all this sustainable fuel, 100%. So basically, Vettel is probably a billionaire because he's designed this fuel that now F1 are going to run in 2026. I mean, he's not stupid, is he?
What do you think he's called it?
V mode. Oh no, there's already Shell V mode. Can't have that. S mode. Seb mode. One
Petroleum.
What did you say?
Petroleum.
If he hasn't called it that, Sebastian, you need to call it that.
Got a fucking patent on it. You want it? Pin, bitch.
Petroleum. Nice. I mean, like you say, what? Obviously, Tony, you've said shit. What do you think, Jim?
I don't like I just
Is it all that reaction?
they've got rid of DRS and replaced it with manual override, which is just DRS but with a different name. They got sustainable fuel, which might mean that stop oil, stop throwing cans of bachelor's soup all over paintings. The only other thing really you've got is slightly smaller cars, which is great because it probably means slightly more overtaking.
But I don't think they've gone far enough. 10 centimetres isn't a lot, is it?
It's nothing, but when it comes to like Magnussen and Perez at Monaco, that's probably enough.
And 30 kilograms out of the car, the amount Tony eats for his weight gains, he's probably had bigger shits than 30 kilograms. Do you know, it's like they've done it and they've took a step in the right direction, just not gone far enough.
I reckon the guy that normally looks after it was checking his calendar and he was like, "Oh shit, guys, we meant to have got this out. Quick, What can we? 10 centimeters smaller. This much wider. And yeah, let's just call DRS manual override and tell them it's a completely different thing and it's better.
Yes, done. Let's go to the party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christian, on our way. Yeah.
There's so many arguments to this, and so many we're trying to be more renewable. And I'm sorry, but there's over 20 races across the world, and we fly across the world. Fuck's sake, we're in Canada, we go to Spain, we've just been in Japan. Yeah. You're never gonna fucking get away from that. There's tens of thousands of flights every day burning fuel. Do you know what I mean? Again, we have our blue bin. So the ordinary man on the street, one woman, and whoever, you've got a blue bin. I'm sorry, you can fill that blue bin, but the fuckers in Asia or wherever else are still going to throw their fucking trash in the river. It's just, this is supposed to be F1. This is the pinnacle of motor racing. Okay, I understand they've got to do something to be like a leader, to show initiative, but we just want to see cars go really quick around the track and race, and I hope that's not lost in these new regulations. I just hope to God it's not lost.
The engine side, don't get me wrong, the engine side, you've got your likes of Audi coming in now, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's still a 1.6 litre engine. You're now going to 50-50 split between electric and petrol. But if you're going sustainable fuel, why don't you just run the old V10s or V12s? Because Seb has already proved that in his car that he owns, which is an old V12, it makes the old noise that we all love, the screech and the scream of an F1 car. When you say F1, that's the noise you hear. And he's already proven, I can put sustainable fuel in that, and it's going to save the planet. But like you say, that 0.5% difference Formula One will make. But you can have the big engines like you used to have. And that technology will still go into road cars, because then you'll have forecourts having this sustainable fuel. Why then go 50-50 fuel? Because basically we're e-racing then, aren't we?
But then this is what I mean, and you touched on a real good point there. This is the pinnacle, but is it almost fallen into a realm of politics?
Yep.
It's a tick box.
Tick exercise, tick box exercise.
And again, I hope the racing isn't sacrificed. That's all I'm worried about.
We've mentioned on here Formula E, haven't we? We've vaguely touched now and again. Let's be honest, them cars sound fucking shit.
And they're shit. It's shit. My cars sound shit. I've got electric cars and they sound shit.
You've both been to Silverstone.
Yeah.
Are they going to have tape recordings of old F1 car noises playing on the tannoy system, because you ain't going to hear anything going forward?
No. Either the drivers have to just scream constantly to make a sound, or while you're there, you've got to make the sounds yourself. So you can be sat there at a store, and as soon as you see the drivers driving towards you, just kind of go.
Yeah.
And that's it.
And you're like, fucking hell, you get stiff and hard and low, because we've all been motor racing, haven't we? We've all seen motor racing in some form, whether it's 2 wheels, 4 wheels, or whatever.
Apparently, you've been go-karting, haven't you, Tony? Apparently.
I've been go-karting, but let's not go there. Just hearing the sound, it gets you, doesn't it? It just gets you.
When you see a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, or
you're like,
whoa. You're like, whoa, it makes someone waking up.
Yeah,
that's going. That is going.
Yeah,
that's sad.
I mean, I didn't get to hear them before they went for the hybrid stuff. Charlie has. Charlie's gone to loads of F1 races, and she always remembers having to go sticking the ear defenders and everything, but it was that loud you would feel it pounding in your chest.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've since, and I've always thought they are still loud, but they're not.
No.
And when you're next to the track as well, and there's fucking 20 cars flying past you, you're like, fucking hell, like, fuck. Like, wow. You're taken aback. You're like, fucking hell. Like, if one of them fucks up, it's all going to kick off. Like, or the speed and the engineering, just the complete appreciation of it all. Like, you're like, fucking hell. And it's like you said, Silverstone, like, depends where you are. Stowe, Beckett's, you see all these different, you see how the cars work and how they move and how they downshift and they upshift, and you think, and the skill, you appreciate the skill so much more, and you're like, fuck. Like, that's why we love it. That's why we want to watch it. Like, fuck.
So here you go, right. So Ayrton Senna used to do this weird thing after he'd make a corner. He wouldn't just go back on the throttle. He would pulse the throttle. So after he'd do it, the engine was like, it wouldn't get that. All you'd hear is just kind of like electric whistle just going.
Yeah.
And that would be it. And it's just like, where's the fucking fun in that?
That's my biggest worry. The engine's going half. They've snuck that in there as well. It's like, oh, we've got active aero, X mode, Z mode, blah, blah, blah. Only engines are 50-50 electric. Oh.
Engineering in general, any motor, whether it be a fucking plane, whether it be a fucking machine at work, you appreciate, like, I don't know, the noise, the mechanism. You appreciate it, don't you, Mark? You're a fucking engineer. Like, fucking hell, like how things work and connect and produce a moving torque, power. Like, wow.
Aeroplane engines, when you're sat on the old 747s on the runway, the 4-engined aeroplane, you sat, the pilot sat there, pushes the thrust forward, and that kicks you back and goes, and it makes that. You're like, some people, and I'm definitely one of those people because I'm a geek, I absolutely would get off on that feeling. I'd do it every hour of every day. Like you say, and that is what motorsport is.
747s.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
At work, mate, that's frowned upon.
747. Oh, a good Virgin Atlantic 747. Whoa.
Mate,
anyway.
Yeah, you're right. It's taking that buzz out of it. Definitely.
I mean, yeah, we need to move on. There's already been an AI race in the Middle East where they've gotten the driverless cars, and it's basically just going on by AI, artificial intelligence. The car has learned the track, and therefore the cars race each other and learn how to race. Is this the way we're going? I don't.
It's just got Skynet written all over it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, right, so we started with ChatGPT. What we're going to do next? So we're going to give this AI thing, we're going to give it a vehicle. Okay, what after that? Oh, I don't know. Maybe nuclear launch codes or something. I don't know. It'll be fine. It'll be absolutely fine. Don't worry about it.
Here's a question, though. The further we move with technology, it makes you appreciate more the old technology and how they used to do it, how they used to all the old driving and racing and machinery and engineers and skill and talent. It just makes you appreciate them even more. And you think, wow.
The more technology we get, the more I think Fernando Alonso is going to end up like one of the aliens off The Simpsons. Just in his fluids, just a floating head, artificial body, and he'll still be racing, and he'll probably be like 280 years old, but he'll still be a twat as well. But he'll still be. It just makes me think of that because he's just going to go. Like I say, it's getting easier to draft potentially, so anyone can do it.
Yeah, true. Well, do we have any more news after that? After the no, how long have we got left until the interval?
4 minutes.
4 minutes. Do you think we could? Do you think we could smash out quali quickly?
Yeah.
Q1. Perez was out again.
Yeah.
Signed a new contract. He was a bit upset by not qualifying.
Drive faster than.
I would have said it all before. I would have said it time and time again. He needs to be doing better in that car. I really do think it would have been a lot better if there had somebody else there. And he is letting that team down massively. Anyway, any Q1 anymore?
Nope.
No, Q2. Hamilton, Russell, Mercedes, Pace. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. The upgrades, I don't believe that shit anymore. I literally just watch them race. They look good. They look really good. Hamilton even went first on the leaderboard for a time. Both Ferraris out. Went on the used, didn't take the new tyres. I don't know, complacency? Was the car quick enough?
Just disappeared, didn't it? Literally, when they said in Monaco, we'll go well in Canada, there was just nowhere all weekend.
Even Leclerc radio was saying, we're not going to talk about it on here. So I think they knew there was an issue with the car.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
All weekend, that's a good shout, you know. That's a good shout. Because at the time, I thought it was strategy. I think they were kind of just hoping to get to the end and then gambling on tyres. But that's a good shout. Very good shout.
Maybe they went all in to get Leclerc the win at Monaco. And they're paying for it now.
I do think that. I think that.
Sainz there wasn't much in it between Sainz and Leclerc, so I think it's an actual issue with the cars themselves.
Oh, yeah, you're right, yeah.
It's worrying. Anyway, Q3. Russell and Max Verstappen with the same time, but Russell went went first, and therefore got the pole. Ricciardo 5th was the only other takeaway that I can get from it, really. Again, Hamilton
down in 7th.
Yeah.
Everybody caught up.
Only other thing I noticed in quali was Max went through a lot of tyres. If I remember correctly, he had 3 tyre changes in Q1, at least 2 in Q2, and he went through. It's almost like they needed to get that pole.
Yeah.
So they was going through the tyres, which I was sitting there thinking, well, does that mean he's just going to be driving on scrubs all on race day or what? But interesting.
What was your thoughts on Russell's celebration when he got out of the car?
Oh, he's a dick. He's just an attention seeker, and
he's owned it now. That's it forever.
When he did it, I didn't automatically think, oh, look, he's doing what happened last year when he got took the piss out of it and all the memes. I just thought, mate, you look like you're trying to be Madonna doing Vogue.
It's just the way he is, isn't it? It's just the way he is. Anyway, we're going to have an interval now. We're running out of time, but I'll leave you with this before we go. We can answer it on the other side. Is he ready to be number 1 at Mercedes? Is he?
That's a cliffhanger.
Well, you'll have to tune in to the second part. We'll see you all soon on the other side.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, you. Yeah, you that's listening right now. Thanks very much for tuning into this episode of Straight to the Apex, the Formula 1 podcast from CookieCast. If you're enjoying this episode, why not like, share and subscribe? Whilst you're there, feel free to check out some of the other podcasts that CookieCast has to offer. If you like football, we've got a football podcast. NFL more your thing? Then the Laces Out podcast is for you. Maybe even a little bit of the wrestling. Just look for the Getting Over podcast on CookieCast. Maybe you want to listen to Andy's Darkest Timeline. It's there too. So, the F1 boys have probably got themselves a drink. It's time to get back to the action.
Go for it. Hi there. My name is Tony T-Dog, and welcome back to part 2, Straight to the Apex, episode 10, season 3, Canada. I left you with a question. What's your opinions?
No.
No.
No. Okay.
I wanted to do that straight away as soon as you asked the question. No cliffhanger from me. No, he's not ready.
Can't get on board with him. And he seems to be getting wet. Now that Lewis is leaving, is it me or does he seem to be just getting worse?
Yes. And I completely agree with both of you. And it hurts me to say this, but George Russell is the number one driver of Mercedes F1 racing team. That just sounds wrong. That just sounds wrong.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. 100%.
But I think it's going to happen very soon, whether you like it or not.
And I think he's going to be there for a long time.
I think he is. Hopefully, he'll mellow out. I don't know. What will the future hold? Anyway, you just got to tune in. Keep tuning in. Anyway, race. Should we get to the race?
Yes.
It was a fun race. It was wet, then it was dry, and then it was wet, and then it was dry. And no one really knew whether to go on slicks or wets. It was difficult. Regardless, it was a very, very slow start. And Haas went on to the wets, and they absolutely smashed it, flew up the leaderboard. But it was just a slow start. Gasly got in a tussle with Perez, and Norris rose very quickly through the field. We had Alonso against Hamilton battling out, which was beautiful to see. And then Leclerc had engine issues, which he hampered his race very, very, very much so. And then we had Sargent's crash. Do we have anything to add before Sargent's crash?
Leclerc on the radio.
Yeah.
What,
was
moaning?
saying how slow am I going? Or how much time am I losing? And his engineer just went, a lot. And he went, don't come to me with that. Give me my fucking numbers.
Yeah.
The fact that they was able to fix it, well, they said they fixed it in the pits with the, turn it off and turn it back on again IT trick. Yeah, like, they was off the pace anyway, like you said. I think, like you say, there was maybe carrying an issue coming in. They just seemed well out off. Leclerc was getting more pissed off, wasn't he? It was just...
Big roll of the dice on the hards at the end.
Yeah, bit too early.
Roll.
Big roll.
A big roll.
That was all in when you're desperate. Literally, all in. I've got nothing. I've got literally one card that could be good. I'm going all in. Oh, shit. I've lost it all. Yeah. Magnussen, up to 5th on the full wets. I mean, I was hoping it was going to rain more, and all their radars was so accurate with the weather. But I was kind of thinking, please rain, because Magnussen was flying. I mean, he nearly caught Norris. He'd have been 2 more laps raining. He'd have been in the lead.
They were. They made it was a good idea. Magnussen went from 14th to 5th, like you said. But then it just fell back on him.
Yeah.
Then it was right, shit.
We
got to change our tyres now. And by the time they'd done theirs, everyone else was on the right tyres and they was flying. Because it was right, yeah, we're off. But then when it started drying up, theirs weren't working anymore and everyone else's was picking up. And I think Magnussen actually went back to about 13th, 14th. So it's like, you float grid and then you pretty much dropped quicker.
Well, neither of them finishing in the point, so it's a gamble that didn't pay off.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sargent crashed again. But I think he actually crashed twice. So, I mean, hopefully well, not hopefully. We would never want anybody to hopefully crash, but he continues the record. He keeps it going. He's getting close. I'll be honest here. I'm going to say it. Don't hate me for this. He's getting close to the Lord here. He's getting very close to Lord Latifi. As one of the fucking shittest F1 races I've ever seen in my life.
It's the second seat at Williams. It brings out these absolute dog shit drivers.
Well, it could be Carlos Sainz next year, guys. It's looking very much so. Very, very much so. And
welcome to the club, Carlos.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what his thought process is there. Are you desperate? It'd be nice to see him in a Mercedes engine. It will be. That's the only positive I can see from that. Anyway, Norris then gets done by the safety car. And a lot of reference was made by commentary and Red Bull boss about Miami and it doing him a disfavour this time.
Hey, back from Miami.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Christian Hornet, mate. You are like the ex-girlfriend from high school. Sorry,
here we go.
You in the air. What goes around comes around, man. Yeah, all right then, mate. So when is Jerry going to start WhatsApping fucking men? Because, what goes around comes around. Also, if we're going to start being like that, dickhead, I also remember Max winning the first world championship thanks to a safety car. What goes around comes around. Prick. Fucking prick.
That is just their mentality all over. Like, I don't get it. I do not get it. They're so bitter. I felt sorry for Norris because Norris overtook Max and Russell for the lead earlier, and he looked on fire.
Oh, yeah, he genuinely did. And the thing I liked as well was, granted, Norris didn't, he didn't get the race or anything else like that. He didn't get the finish he wanted thanks to a safety car. But he said what any other driver would say, sometimes a safety car really helps you out, sometimes it hinders you.
Yeah.
But then fuck off.
And Piastri as well. He's so level-headed.
He is.
He's just years beyond mentally than how old he is. I don't like.
This is why when Hamilton finally gives up the ghost, he's my go-to guy. George Russell is big fat no. Lando, there's just something about him. I think he's all right, but I'm not like yes. Oscar Piastri.
It's just cool.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
He's a kid at the minute, but the older he gets, he's almost like just relaxed.
When someone blocks him, he just goes, mate, got blocked there. Right, okay. Like, don't make a big fuss or anything. It's just like, yeah, whatever.
This is why I think everyone's so good at the moment. Yeah, they've got great engineers. They've got a great team, great crews, a great principal, and two very.
I want a hug from Zach Brown. Definitely, I want a hug from Zach Brown. Big bear hug.
And his title was on show as well, by the way.
Yeah, new tap for Norris.
Nah.
It's a proper,
proper
Eastall special, that.
And it's like, oh, yeah, mate. I remember doing that when I was like 13 in like Cornwall. I'd roll my sleeves up going, oh, they had me.
Was it? I think it was fucking one of his mates had gone, come round, mate. I've got I used to do it back in the day, you know what I mean? Got some good designs and that.
In prison. Did it in prison.
You get a chippy on. We'll get the fucking chippy on and fucking watch the F1. I'm fucking, what track was it? Oh yeah, fucking ace. I'm fucking ace at drawing tracks, mate.
Wow.
Trust me, man, I feel fucking tin is too money. Fucking, we'll rub it out. We'll rub it out. We'll go over it. We'll go over it and back. We'll go over it and back. Don't worry, mate. Anyway,
Are you still speaking in the voice?
no, sorry. Just carries on. So, lap 30 after the crash on the safety car, Albon does potentially, arguably, one of the passes of the season up to now.
Or the luckiest.
Yeah.
Or the luckiest.
He goes past Ricciardo and then slips it on the inside on Ocon, which
The weaves between.
Yeah.
So good.
It was good. It was very good.
nice.
Friggin' hell. That could have gone wrong really badly.
Yeah.
That'd have been Logan Sargent. That'd have been Ricard Parlo. Done.
45, it started to rain and Norris stayed out. Was that the right thing to do or not? Don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Obviously not, because he didn't get past Verstappen, but it was fucking exciting and great to watch.
If the pit and the pit lane wasn't absolutely soaking wet, because obviously Norris stayed out on his inters, didn't he, for 2 laps longer than everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
And then Norris come in, and you thought, he's done this. Like, what a move. But then, as soon as you looked at the pits and that turn 1 and 2, that didn't dry.
Piss wet, bro.
Yeah.
Piss wet.
The pit, standing water, and you saw him just level to Max, and then just spun a little bit at the back, and was like, oh.
If he'd have put his foot down and then spun into Max, I mean, that would have been good.
I mean, I was hoping Max and Russell were going to take each other out at the start of the race, in fairness. But...
Well, yeah, to be fair, yeah.
Oh, well, and then from there, Russell got Norris. And then Norris got Russell back. And we got one of the best fucking onboard radios from Toto Wolff himself, aka Darth Vader. Focus, George, focus. Use the Force, George.
The Force, Luke.
Focus, George. I loved it. That was amazing. I hope his voice gets deeper and more German. It'll just be fucking amazing.
It's every week.
It made me laugh. It made me laugh so much. When he said it, I was just like...
Do you think he, like, you know, the press the radio button? Do you think he said, like, focus, George, focus, and then went, that's our number 1 driver next year?
It just gave me visions of that new hope as you know, when they're going to the Death Star.
Yeah, you get comms thing.
And there was fucking Norris behind him, like Darth Vader, like the X-Wing. I was like, oh God, Luke, Russell, Luke, fucking channel it, man.
Let's not compare George Russell to Luke.
No. On the scale of cool, he's about as far away as you can from Luke Skywalker, isn't he?
Yeah.
Howdy, partner.
He's more like Jabba the Hutt.
You Qui-Gon Jinn, mate. You don't even survive one film.
Oh, don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there.
You get stabbed and that's it, you're dead.
Enough of Qui-Gon. We don't want to go there. Perez, back to the F1. Perez span and smashed his wing, and then Sainz had a spin and so unluckily hit Albon, and he was rendered disabled.
Yeah.
The Perez crash, Red Bull, very naughty.
Interesting. Is that what you're saying? Whoa.
Not allegedly.
Claim.
Not well. They said, didn't they? We forced him to stay out so that Max didn't. So he didn't bring the safety car out. That's why Perez has got a free grid penalty for the next race.
I didn't know that.
Didn't you know this?
No.
So there's a radio message where Red Bull say to Perez, get the car back to the pits in any circumstances necessary, as we don't want safety car for Max.
Wankers.
So that's why the rear wing was absolutely smashed to shit, and he was driving because Red Bull had said, you need to get back to the pits now. We do not want a safety car. We do not want a safety car. And he's been given a free grid penalty for the next race.
Like you said, I do remember hearing him say that on the radio, but I didn't put two and two together and think they're doing it.
I think they should get absolute book thrown at them.
Well, I was, everything was happening so quickly, and I think the science thing happened and completely diverted my attention. But the commentators were touching on that, saying it's a yellow, it's a safety car because his wing's hanging off. His wing is hanging off, like it could fall.
Yep, and big bits flew off.
They're flying off.
Yeah.
Debris on the track.
I think that is typical Christian Horner and Red Bull. And I think they should literally get the book thrown at them for that. I think that's the worst. That's worse than bloody Michael Massey.
Well, Ferrari got a fine. They got a fine after this weekend for going out on. I can't think they've gone out on the slicks or the wets before it was raining.
Yeah, before it was declared one way or the other, didn't they? Yeah.
They've been fined for that. So. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Red Bull should be getting the same kind of, because, mate, that's it's health and safety at the end of the day. It's the well-being of the driver.
Big chunks of wing. Like if one of the drivers had hit that full pelt, I'm sorry, but that is dangerous. It's dangerous driving. They should be made an example of. We know they won't be.
No,
they should be made an example of, definitely.
We restarted. And we had Russell versus Hamilton, where they were allowed to race. And it was a good overtake. Fucking Hamilton pushed him to the very edge. But got to give it to him at the end of the day. And he did touch on it in the at the end in the winner's circle room. He got it just. He passed him just for the corner. But Hamilton pushed him very, very fucking close to that grass, and I was thinking, fuck, we're going to have Bottas, Russell flying parked cars around, but we didn't, and fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, who you're a fan of, Russell got the third place. What thoughts on that?
Hamilton wasn't happy because he come back out on hards and Russell was on mediums. And he kind of thought that they'd stitched him. But
I mean, we touched on this last week that Russell's going to start finishing ahead of Hamilton a lot. And there's going to be a lot of things like this that are going to happen race in, race out, quali in, quali out. Get ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck, Lewis. I think he's only going to get more fans from it.
Yeah. What bugged me was Lewis was first in free practice 3, and his pace went. And in the race, don't get me wrong, Lewis made a mistake early doors when he was closing on the cars in front of him. He was closing at a rapid pace, and he went off on the grass, and it kind of undid all that. So yeah, he's made mistakes, but. Yeah, like normally you'd have heard Mercedes say, look, it's a bit dodgy conditions, hold station. The fact that they told them to race.
Interesting.
Clean, but still at the same time, it's like I've said before in one of the recent one of the recent episodes, that they can't be thinking about either of the drivers now. For Mercedes, it's just down to the constructors.
Yeah,
they need to do as they can just for a closer pit box, longer time in the wind tunnels, everything.
And you touched on it earlier, Tony. Does the make have Merc got themselves into contention now? Like, is that a quick car that's up there with McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull?
I mean, possibly, yes, but I don't know if I'm unique in my opinion, and biased opinion. I don't believe the shit that they say. I just don't believe any shit that comes out of their mouth after the past 2 years. Anything. I'll believe it when I see the result, unfortunately. I can't, because I've got my hopes up before, my expectations were high, and they've just been Ben after Ben after Ben. So
my predictions for Spain say it all, really, because yes, Mercedes were fast, but from past experience, I've been burnt before. I'm just going. My predictions are based pretty much just on who I know are the most reliable at the moment.
exactly, yeah.
Spain is the track that they test on, and is an all-round track for, like, apparently Spain. The reason they test there is because that track proves if your car's good or not, because it's an old school track. It's not prestigious, but it's an old school track. Red Bull are normally strong there. Ferrari are normally strong there. I guess McLaren will be up there. And yeah, I totally agree with you. Don't trust Mercedes. Don't trust that all of a sudden they've bolted on some speed. I think it's a flash in the pan and they'll go back to 6th or 7th.
Exactly. Well, anything else to add on the race, guys? The only thing I've got is the Alpine drama story rolls on. Ocon kicked off on the radio and said, let Gasly have a go at Ricciardo. He said, yes, if you give me the place back. He said, okay, maybe. So Gasly came through at the end of the race. He didn't improve, and they didn't give the place back. So Ocon was a bit pissed about that.
He had no right to be after Monaco.
Well, I don't think it's Alpine that have gone, we're not renewing your contract. I think it's more the other side. I think Ocon's gone, fuck you, I'm not staying here. But I think that, and then I think that'll rage on. And I fucking hope to God he don't go to Mercedes.
Kind of fire me, I quit.
Yeah, that type of attitude.
It was just like, okay.
yeah. I'm not renewing the contract. Okay, well, we weren't going to offer you that. Well, I wasn't going to renew anyway. Type situation.
The scary thing is, he seems very confident he's got a drive for next year.
Oh, please, no.
And there's not many seats available now.
Well, I've heard there's the young lad, the teenager, has got the drive for the 2026 Mac.
Oh, really?
Rumour.
Yeah.
But again, well, please, Ocon, please don't fucking stand for Mercedes. Please don't do that.
The Macs are ready to be Ben. I've bought a petrol canister for him to pour all over them.
I've got the actual bin to do it, so we'll be ready. So yeah, that ends with Max first, Norris second, Russell third, Hamilton fourth, Piastri fifth, Alonso sixth, Stroll seventh, Ricciardo eighth, Gasly ninth, Ocon 10th. And that's about it. That's all I've got. Yeah. Predictions.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. what was that, James? You don't want to talk about them?
Not really.
Who did you pick to win, James? Who did you pick?
Not Max.
No, you didn't pick Max, did you?
Who did you pick, James? Who did you pick to win?
Sainz.
Wow. Someone
God.
is getting cocky.
Come on.
I know. I was really.
on.
I can't turn around and make any comments about his haircut because we both have the same barber. And I like Ash, and I recommended Ash too, Tony. So I can't even turn around. I can't laugh at your hair.
Is that why your beards are very similar shaped? Because you go to the same guy.
We do.
Maybe I need to go to him and see if he can colour this white bit in.
Do it. Might be. Might be able to do something.
So, Mark, you had 21 points. You went Max, Leclerc, Piastri, giving you 3 more points, giving you 24. I went Sainz, Leclerc, and Max. Starting on 19 and still got 19. Tony, you had 20. You went Max, Sainz, Norris, giving you 23. For the ladies, Charlie had 6, going Norris, Leclerc, Sainz, so she's gone back to normal and has got fuck all, so still on 6. Beth went Max, Sainz, and Hamilton, meaning she is on 15 points.
I bet she was gutted when Hamilton got overtaken because I didn't realise that.
Hell of a shout to put a Merc in the top 3 as well.
Yeah, from nowhere. From nowhere. So how many's Beth on?
19.
Isn't that the same as one of the other people in the podcast group?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Not Tony.
No? Is it me?
No, it's not you either.
Is it? Oh, Charlie.
No. Fuck you all. All right, just.
And if James could end the podcast here, he would press the button right now.
This meeting has ended.
Well, my picks for this week.
Yes.
I'm gonna go.
Are you gonna go?
I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna gamble like you, James, this week, and I'm gonna go Norris to win, and then I'm gonna go Max Verstappen, and then I'm gonna go Carlos Sainz for the bands. Anyway.
Wanker.
Who's going next, James?
So I have gone Max for the win.
Oh, good. I thought it was Carlos Sainz again then.
No, I have not. I have not got any Ferrari in the top 3.
I know.
I have also not got any Mercedes in the top 3.
Oh, it's gone for the MacLeod.
4 and then just seen jack shit. So I have gone Norris 2nd and Piastri 3rd.
Ooh.
And
Very nice.
I'm also very tempted to say Perez will get another DNF.
Wow.
3 on the bounce.
I had a 3 written down before we started the podcast, and I changed my mind. I changed number 2 and number 3 round just before we started recording. So I've gone Max for the win. And then I've swapped these 2 rounds. So I've got Piastri 2nd. And I've got Carlos 3rd.
Bance as well. Bance.
I did have him 2nd. And then I thought about it and thought, let's lower the expectations of said Ferrari.
No, Bance. He did it for the Bance.
Wankers.
I hope Carlos gets there. I don't give a shit about the rest now.
Another podcast where I made some ridiculous predictions just to wind up Mark and beat them up.
Yeah. Well, we know. Yeah, we know. We don't talk about that one.
So I've got the gurus here,
Yep.
which God, I got a guru in fairness. The awkward one. Say hi.
We heard that. Yeah.
So
She's
Charlie went Norris for the win. We only call you awkward because you never pick Max, just because you'd refuse to say his name. So yeah, Norris for the win. Piastri second. Hamilton third.
So,
I mean, she's had
James-
Max in the top 3, and she's got rid now, right? Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Charlie likes finishing last. Because there's Bants having Sainz, and then there's Bants having Hamilton.
I mean, you can't write this. You can't write this. Best centre picks about a few minutes ago, well, half an hour ago. I've looked at them now properly.
This is Bants. This is full on absolute comedy value Bants. James, you're going to be in front of her. Don't you worry about it.
Fuck, I hope so.
I don't even know if I can say this after what I've been saying. She's gone. I'll go in reverse order for Bants. She's got third, and it sounds better that way as well. Third, she's got Max Verstappen. Second, Lando, and first, Carlos Sainz.
I mean, that is utter Bants. Utter. However, if that comes in and the Spaniard wins the Spanish Grand Prix, we are fucked. But it ain't happening. It's not happening. That's just too much Bants. You've gone too far there.
I mean, you can't write it, can you? I mean, this podcast just has comedy value written all over it. Which kind of brings us to the end of this episode. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for the
Bants. Thanks for all the sexual innuendos. Yeah,
Star Wars.
it's been good, guys. Pardon?
The Star Wars comments.
Star Wars comments.
Join us next week for Kate Beckinsale and Jerry Halliwell, obviously.
Yep, that still mentions, and now 3 Jerry Halliwell's up 4. So, Andy, don't let us down a second week, mate. Come on.
And I'll share us, like, subscribe everywhere. Thank you, CookieCast. Thank you, Andy. I'll leave you with the best interview on the grid walk by far, Mary McGee, American sports motorsport pioneer. Fantastic if you haven't watched it. It was absolutely fantastic. And she knows who the GOAT is. Like everybody else, she knows who the GOAT is. I'll leave you with that. Thanks for listening and watching. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Toodles.
So there you go, what do you think to that? Another one done, another one gone, another one in the bag. Great to see the guys, great to hear the guys, however you get your podcast. It's not for us to say, as long as you enjoyed it, that's the main thing. Before you leave us, please do consider like, share, subscribe and comment. Leave a review where you can leave a review, and check out the website, thecookiecast.com. There we have social media links and an email button, and that way you can get in touch with these guys. Say, hey, just want to let you know, I love what you're doing. That is it for this one. Till next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.
You've just listened to another episode of Cookie Cast. Thanks for listening.